Hey everybody, welcome to Derek's TED Talk about grade inflation or grade inflation. So, basic idea of grade inflation, as you know, is that over time grades are going up to some degree. So the question is that happening at Proctor Academy? So here's the data. What does the data say? So what the data says right here is that over a period of time from 2000 to 2002, we have seen, these are averages each year, and I pick the fall school year, so 2000 is really fall 2000 up to fall 2002. Oh, actually, no, sorry, back up. I picked the spring. So this is spring 2000 to spring 2002, so last year. I take all of the grades issued that year, and we average them. So this grade down here represents the average grade given in the grade book in the fall or in the spring of 2000. Clear over here on this end, you see the same thing, the average grade given in the spring of 2002. So you throw all of those averages onto this chart, you ask it to draw a nice trend line, and you get this equation, which math people will tell you, statistics people will tell you, not a bad correlation coefficient or R-square value. And this right here, this slope tells us that on average, over the last 22 years, our spring or our annual grades have increased by 0.3% per year. Now, a couple of interesting things that I see in the data. One, I'm not sure what happened in the spring. This could very well be a COVID hiccup, right? This is spring 2019, so we actually had a bunch of zero grades in here or no numeric grades for that 1 year. So we didn't see spring grades show up, which is an interesting thing. And then the next year, look at that. So the year coming out of COVID, as we kind of reflect, we maybe gave higher grades on average than we had in years past. Now, if this looks really, really scary, notice that the scale here starts at an 81. So if you actually make it look more like a scale that goes from 0 to 100, it doesn't look quite as scary. Again, there's a little COVID bump, but same change over time. Another way that you might want to look at these grades is what's called a histogram, which looks at how the grades are sorted into different bins. If we had a perfect bell curve where we said our mean grade, our average grade was something like an 80%, you'd expect a nice, beautiful bell curve distribution like that, where the middle here is right where your ideal average would be. In this case, of course, our grades, as you might expect, and it is not surprising, in 2005-06 school year, here's the overall shape where the mean is somewhere in about the 85-86 range. 2017-18, that number has skewed a little bit higher. The bell has shifted higher, and now we're looking at something almost in the 90s. And then here's that last school year. You can see how it's shifted again. Again, this number here would represent something in the it's almost a 90. It's like an 88.9 or something like that for our mean gradebook grade given last year. So that's what the data says about grade inflation at Proctor right now. I think the questions for us are, what does that mean? Do we care? And what would or should we do about it? So I put those questions out there for us to tackle, talk about, and wrestle with.